So I feel obsessed about roller skating.
Feels on wheels with Mean Bean.
Hi, I'm Mean Bean, and this is Fields on Wheels, a talk show about roller skating.
Addie, pronoun she, her, is a jam skater in Ottawa who started skating in 2022. She loves to discover new skating rinks and hopes one day to skate as many rinks as possible.
Addie, thank you so much for coming on the show.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
What inspired you to start roller skating?
Well, there was a pandemic and everybody was stuck inside. And I was like, I want to do something. And then I was on Instagram and then I stumbled onto a video of Morgan Westgate skating at Venice Beach with the mask on. And I was like, oh, I want to do this. This is like, I want to try this. I ordered my first pair of like Impalas, started skating next week, basically.
Did you start out as more of a trail skater or
No.
went straight to dance?
No, I didn't even know. I didn't even know the different kind of, like, I just saw that video and I was like, okay, she's dancing. I knew there was derby, but I didn't want to do derby because as much as derby is a fun thing, it's not for me. I'm not a big contact person and I like to skate on music. So I saw her and then there was a basketball court next to my house. And that's where I went for the first time and kind of just awkwardly rolled around. Like there was no dancing here. That was just me rolling like this.
So how did the dancing start?
I maybe skated by myself for about 6 months. And then when I did my first transition from front to back, I was like, okay, I'm looking for a community or other people. This was a little bit later into the end of 2022. I need to like find other people might be skating now in Ottawa. And then I looked up on Facebook and I think someone from the roller derby community said, hey, on Tuesday nights, there's a drop-in at Lansdowne and there's music and maybe you'll find like a more of that kind of skating there.
So I think you're largely self-taught.
Yeah. My first classes that I did were actually with Marley. So Marley's a skater from Montreal. She's a good friend of mine. She's lovely. And so skate with Marley. She was one of my first teachers that I went to see. And then she actually brought a few guest teachers, like a Peachy skater came and Shima from Toronto and did workshops. And that's kind of my first intro to getting taught jam skating, I guess.
And you've also traveled and skated. Can you talk to me about the different places that you've traveled?
I think that's my favorite thing about skating is wherever you go, almost, there's a community of skaters. Pick a city, small, big, like it doesn't matter, but they'll always be, just Instagram it like, hey, I'm here to skate. Where is the skate night tonight? Yeah, so actually I was really lucky. I have a good friend of mine who actually used to skate here and then he moved to LA and he moved to Venice Beach and he's a skater too. And he was like, come down. And so I started kind of going to California quite often. And then I started taking lessons there with a whole bunch of people. And then I went to Barcelona for Skate Love, which was amazing.
Okay, you need to tell me all about Skate Love.
It's like overwhelming. Skate Love is one of the biggest roller dancing festivals and it's in Barcelona. It's in September. And I think it's been going on for like 10 years now. It's basically 4 days of just nonstop skating to music, different DJs. And then we've got people from all over the world that come and teach and do workshops, just kind of showcase different styles of skating. It's mostly dance skating. There are no ramps, but people do trail skating. Like we did like a rollout through Barcelona with the London skaters. London skaters, they're more like a shuffling, but they also dance skate. So they organize a big rollout. So you've got people from all over the world that come skate. Like we've got London, we've got Paris, we've got California skaters, we've got skaters from South America, from Colombia. They have a huge skate community in Colombia, by the way.
No way.
Yes. Apparently in Colombia, you can skate in the malls and every mall almost has a roller rink in the middle or like a place that you can skate, like a marble floor.
That is amazing. Wow.
Yeah. So Skate Love, that's what it is. It's basically a place where everybody gets together and it's huge and it's 4 days and it's in beautiful Barcelona. It's next to the sea and I recommend everybody go.
What was the experience like actually skating? Because it's pretty packed, right? It's busy.
Yeah, it's very busy. I went in 2024. So I don't think I was ready in 2023. I do have to say, although it's a very inclusive festival and it's very, nobody's going to think like you're not good enough. Just the size of the rink is not super big and people go really fast. And in the middle, there's choreo, which is quite hard. I don't know if it's a beginner friendly festival. I don't know. For me, it wouldn't have been fun as a beginner because you just can't keep up with the skating. But again, I don't know. That's just my own opinion.
I think that's great advice. If you're going to spend, but seriously, if you're going to spend a lot of money to go to Barcelona, like you want to make sure you're having a good time. But you did have a good time.
I had a great time.
Did you learn anything new while you were there?
I did. Well, actually, it's funny. The second day I was there, I bought new WIFA skates, which are amazing. But that also meant that I had to get used to the new skates and the new plates. So honestly, I just learned more on how to skate with the new skates. I did meet people, and everybody kind of taught me a little bit, little bits and pieces. And
you mentioned choreo, and I
Yeah.
know we've had a conversation in the past about choreo is attributed to different people, right?
basically, a lot of people want to incorporate different choreo. They would want to do a routine on skates, on a music, on a beat, right? And so there's like an 8 count. So basically, it's like dancing on skate. And some skaters really don't like choreo. They just want to flow. They just want, they have their own special moves. Like everybody in the dance skate community has their own style. And that's another great thing that I love about like jam skating. And so most people dance on music, but it doesn't mean that they have a choreo. I myself really like choreo. I like learning choreo. I like doing it on music, and I like doing it as a group. I think that's a lot of fun. I think there's an energy when you all do it together, and then you kind of mess up and you laugh about it, and then you do it over and over, and it's hard. But then once you get it, you're just like, oh, it's the best feeling ever. It's really a lot of fun. And it also just teaches you how to like break down each move and how to flow into each move. Because sometimes people are like, oh, just skate, just flow. And you're like, okay, great. I know how to do crazy legs. I know how to do a dribble. I know how to do a dip, but then I don't know how to flow into that. And I think choreo teaches you moves, but also teaches you transitions into the moves that you can use and build your own.
As far as social media goes, do you feel like there's a culture of you should credit whoever came up with the choreo?
For sure. And especially if you're doing a choreo, like a whole routine, it's good to credit them just because you would want to be credited too. It's good for them to know that other people are taking their choreo and you're also spreading it out. You don't want to gatekeep in the same time. Some people say like, who did crazy legs first? Well, there's no one is like attributed to that. Everybody does it differently. I have a subscription to DanceSkate, which is Morgan Westgate's choreo website. And so if I do a choreo from her, move by move, I will credit her and DanceSkate. If I'm just inspired, I'll say I'm inspired by Morgan Westgate's choreo. So yeah, like you can develop your own style, but if you are doing a choreo that's like move by someone, it's good to credit them.
And the style of skating you do is jam skating. Because there's different types of dance skating, right? Like you had mentioned some earlier, like shuffle skating.
Yes. Jam skating mostly means roller dancing, mostly means skating on music. And I guess jam skating is a lot more, kind of goes hand in hand a little bit more with like a hip hop kind of style of dance. It's also inspired by breakdancing as well. But you can jam skate, you don't have to have like the hip hop moves that everybody like has it. And then shuffle actually means they go backwards. So it's like street skating backwards.
And super fast.
So fast.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not even funny. It's so fast. And also the thing that they do, which is amazing, which is something that one day maybe I'll learn, is they shuffle on one side and then they shuffle on the other side while going the same direction. And so, usually when you crisscross, you just kind of go and then you're looking this way. But they shuffle, and I know I'm doing a lot of this, but they shuffle this way. They're still going that way, but they look this way. It's crazy.
And they almost wind up, hey? Like at first,
yes.
like what on earth?
And they just like, yeah, like, oh my God.
How does that give them power?
They have Bauer skates, so they have hockey skates. Most of them that they've converted into like a roller skates, and then the back of them, the heel goes really high, and so they have that like stability when they like go backwards. So I think that really helps. But they also, when they come and dance skate, they usually change the skate that they use. But I mean, again, I've met some of the London skaters, but I haven't been to London to skate. That's on my list.
Talk to me a little bit about skating in Venice Beach.
That's just the Mecca. It's like sacred ground. Like the Venice Skate Plaza it's magic. It's so small too. Like you think that it's big, but it's actually not. But it's just like all the best skaters come to Venice. A lot of them live in California. A lot of them moved to California to skate there. And it's a little bit different than rink skating. There's rinks in LA, and people do go to the rinks as well when you don't go to the plaza. But because it's like next to the beach and the sunsets are just unbelievable. And then there's always music, and it's small enough that you meet people. Sometimes at a rink, they're so big and it's a little bit intimidating. Whereas Venice, like you go, you bring your blanket, you sit down. It is a bit intimidating also, obviously, because people are so good, but it allows people to kind of talk to each other more than a rink would. And it's just so much fun. Yeah.
And you probably learn a lot there too, right?
Yeah. Everyone's so good. Like you go there and just, how are people doing this? I mean, they also have something called Cali G Skate, which is like this, there's a huge rink in California, about 2 hours away from Venice. It's a huge rink, and they have this big event in November. And all the sliders are there. So sliders are skaters who skate on little wood wheels.
Oh yeah, okay, I've seen those. Yes, yeah.
And they have, their skates are sometimes they just look like shoes.
Yeah, they do
And
crazy things on those
and
things.
they just
Yeah.
slide, right? They're called Cali sliders. You can only do that really on like a wood, like a really polished wood floor, obviously. But then they also have, so they have a big party, and then on Sunday of that big skate, they come to Venice, and then they have a big, event where they have a DJ. People from Bay to LA skate, so people from the Bay Area, from San Francisco, come also and skate there. It's a magical place.
I would just love to spectate, like honestly. I
Yeah.
think I'd be too intimidating to skate, but it would be fun just to watch.
People film all the time. You really feel like you are on a TV show almost. Like people stop and they film, and sometimes you're just like, oh my god, don't fall, don't fall, don't fall. Like you can like feel who's like, some people like they kind of like they follow you with your phone. You kind of see it, and you're like, oh my god, don't fall, don't fall. But then who cares? There's people are so much better. Like my levels like here compared to like Kel's and like Chris, and compared to like all these people that skate in Venice.
Are there any places that you'd like to visit to go skate?
Oh my God, everywhere.
Everywhere.
Everywhere. So London is a big one. London, they have a huge skate community. I think they have a rollout or whatever they want to call it in August, if I'm not mistaken. So that's something where I'd love to go. Berlin, they have Berlin Tempelhof. So they have an abandoned airport.
Oh,
So
cool.
now it's converted into a skate space.
Wow.
And it's huge. And people come with boom boxes and they set up DJs, but it's huge, right? And it's super like nice and like what a cool idea. So Berlin is on my list. San Francisco, obviously. So they have this place called the Church of Eight Wheels. It's a church, and now it's converted into a skating ring, and they have like a priest that like presides over, and everybody dresses craziness, sparkles, like really San Francisco style. Actually, apparently Calgary has a great skating ring.
No way.
Yep. A brand new
really?
skating ring. They just opened like maybe a year ago. So apparently it's huge and it's really good, and the community is really big there. So Calgary, I might be coming to Calgary soon, end of February. So, and then, oh my God, everywhere. Atlanta, like, come on.
Have you been to Colombia? Like, or just from speaking
Colombia?
to
No,
yeah.
I have. So no, I haven't. I have a friend who actually I just recently met. He's a skater and he spends like 6 months in Colombia, 6 months here. And I've seen videos, and I was like, is the skate community big, or am I just seeing the videos of the same people? Because you don't know, right? You see on Instagram. And he's like, no, it's huge. And people also street skate. There's a lot of street. That's another thing I'm trying to get into, but that's really scary. But
maybe you'll have to wear pads.
Like one of these.
We got to get you in it one of these days.
I know, but I don't want to wear a pad. I don't want to wear a helmet. No. But yeah, so Colombia is definitely a place I like to skate. I don't know, everywhere. I want to just take a road trip and just hit every place in North America and South America and Europe and then Australia. I don't know, everywhere.
Yeah.
Quit my job, get a van, and just van life it to every rink and skate place.
Paint like little hippie flowers on it. Make it a Volkswagen bus and like just
100%.
I can totally picture you.
Or just a giant skate. Just have the whole like anyway.
Yeah, actually, I could totally see it. You know, if you make enough money as an influencer, like doing your roller skate van
my
life,
gosh.
maybe you can.
I don't know if that's something I want to do. It's a lot of effort to be an influencer, and it's a lot of thought into it. Like as much as I do like social media, as much as I do like posting reels, and I don't know if it's something I want to do full time.
Yeah, because you have some friends who are, right?
do.
Like Morgan and
So I have like, it's funny because I've got, Morgan she's like my sensei basically, but that's what she does full time. It's a lot of hustle, it's a lot of just performances, and she also has like a website. That's what she does. Many times we've skated at Venice, and she's like, I gotta go home and edit videos. So I think it's a double-edged sword. It's great to like promote it and to meet people, but at the same time, it's tiring to always like come up with new things and reinvent yourself. And like, people have got a span of like 3 seconds, right? If you don't capture their attention within 3 or 4 seconds.
For you, you mostly use social media for fun and for networking, I guess.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah. It's for networking. I mean, I have 2 accounts, right? I've got my Addy account and I've got my Roller Addy account. And my Roller Addy is public. And I mostly just use it for networking and to watch skate videos. That's kind of what I do most of it on it. And yes, like obviously stay in touch with people and network. Great tool for it.
So to bring it home, back to Ottawa, there is kind of a little bit of a hole here in Ottawa, right? We don't have a big dance scene.
I think so. I think there's a little bit of a gap. And I think maybe people just don't really know when you start skating, you're like, what do I want to do? And sometimes I think people buy their first skates and they're like, okay, well, how am I gonna go outside? First of all, I think this is just me, but I think putting on skates and like skating outside on a trail as you start skating is so scary. So most people are like, I want to skate in a safe space, like when I start. and I want to take classes. I think a lot of people take classes, and maybe like the Derby League is just a little bit easier. Like you guys have more visibility. And I think that a lot of people just want to skate and they're like, hey, this is kind of what we have here. Let's try it out. And they end up loving it and they do it. So maybe they don't even know about dance skating because they just, they kind of didn't fall into it. Or some people just take a class like Monday nights at Lansdowne. There's classes, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the teachers do mostly perk skating. I think there's a little bit of a gap in dance skating just because maybe people just don't know that it's like a type of skating that you can do besides like derby or perk skating or trail skating. And I think some people are just a little bit intimidated because they say, oh, I don't have the confidence to dance in my regular life. How am I going to do it on skates? I'm going to learn something new and then I'm going to try to dance to music. And what if I'm not on the beat? Like I think about that all the time. So this is just me. I'm always like, oh my God, did I miss that beat? Do I look completely off? Am I, is my stomach sticking out? Am I making a weird face? Like
Never.
It's always like that.
You always look great.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
But that is a good point because
Yeah.
a lot of times jam skaters are in the middle
Yes.
of the
Oh my
rink.
God.
So that is intimidating.
So yes, so those are called ciphers. So getting in the middle and doing that in front of people is called getting to a cipher. And it is so scary. So in Barcelona, I have a few friends who they're really good and they try to pull me into the cipher and I was like, no. I couldn't. My skates were new and I was like, and I know that people don't expect you to do fancy moves and just getting into the cipher is courageous enough and people will be very supportive and they'll encourage you. But you just, oh my God, it's just like, you feel like your soul's leaving your body. It's so intimidating. So this year I'm planning to go to Skate Love again. Maybe this year will be the year we'll get into cipher.
I gotta say though, if you skate local Ottawa peeps, if you skate at Lansdowne and you run into Addie, she is like the friendliest person ever, and she's not going to make you feel out of place. You've actually taught quite a few people, like quite a few random people in the middle of Lansdowne how to do certain moves, like the downtown and like basic things.
Yeah, it's flattering for me, for people to come up to me and ask me like, hey, how do you do this? When, I think I'm still very much a beginner. And that's another thing about like teaching. I don't know yet if I'm there yet. I love to teach people informally, like come up to me and say, hey, I want to do this. It's like, yeah, let's do it together. But as a teacher, I don't know yet. I don't know if that's something that I'm there yet, but.
So Addie was a guest coach at Ottawa Roller Derby and did some dance choreo with the group and had rave reviews from everybody.
Thank you.
And I was part of the intermediate class in the back, falling on my butt.
No,
because I don't have a lot of rhythm. I did once, yeah, but it was super fun. And honestly, like I think you hooked a lot of people on dance skating when you came by.
Well,
they were like, when is Addie going to do this again?
I'm up to doing it again. It's not a problem. I just have to be prepared in advance and I have to think about it because it's, you want to think about the level of people and what they want to do. You also, and I'm not naming names or anything like that, but I have been in classes where the teacher, as good as they were, didn't read the audience. I've had a class with someone, it was a beginner's class. I was just a beginner. You're a beginner forever, but I couldn't, the grapevine, for example. So grapevine is one of for me, it was one of the hardest moves to do. I still struggle with it. But I remember taking this class where it was like, we were just learning, where basically everybody was a level of like transitioning and doing a little bit of footwork. And then someone came in and lovely skater, lovely person, great skater. But it was like, let's learn the grapevine. And everybody was just, that's kind of phase that everybody made. And unfortunately, it didn't get great reviews because people were overwhelmed and they thought, I can't do this, And you also don't want to be that kind of teacher. You don't want to come in with like fancy moves and cool things where like, great, you can do it. But, if you can't teach anybody how to do it, then your class has failed. So
I think honestly, as a participant, I think you did great. And
Thank you.
The extra challenge you had was you were teaching a bunch of people in very bulky pads with huge toe stops and like derby skates. So not very like jam skate friendly, but like you still managed to come up with some choreo that everybody could do in derby skates, which was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, and the people were great. You guys were all really good. I really appreciate everybody coming out and doing it. And you guys learned the choreo pretty like fast, to the point where I was like, oh my gosh, do I have new stuff? I haven't had half an hour and these girls already know what to do. Not just girls, sorry. The people that were there at the class, they all picked it up really well. And it was really nice. And I really appreciate the feedback and really, really had a good time. And I'm glad. And you guys were great. I say you guys because you were part of it too. You were. Everybody was doing it and you were on beat. And that's another thing that I find really hard is being on beat. That's so hard. is like hitting the beat. And if you don't, it's fine. It's not the end of the world, but it doesn't come out in the same kind of.
It's like first you got to figure out how to do the move.
Yes.
Then you have to figure out how to do the beat. So if somebody wanted to try jam skating, like what are some of the skills that you would recommend starting with?
That's a really good question. I guess if you really want, you can start with the little shuffle steps. I'm not really sure what they're called, but
Is
it's
it
like,
where you're like,
yeah, where it's
Mhm.
like, you know, it's kind of like heel, toe, heel, toe, heel, toe. The crab version, which is like keep doing this, it's like your feet go like this. And then if you want to incorporate any type of like backward skating where you're just like a little bit like you put your shoulders in it. So even if you're not doing big moves, like anything that you can just put your little shoulder in it, like hip movement, that's kind of, and I understand that it's scary because sometimes you think you're doing good and then you do a little hip movement and there you go. Like it's just, you know, like you shift your weight a little bit. And this is from my experience. There's nothing funnier than when you're like, oh, I got this. And then you do like cute or sexy little like move. And then it's like, and you're like, either you fall or you've got this fighting for your life kind of thing. But yeah, so I think just little steps here and there. I don't think you need to like learn how to do crazy legs. I mean, of course that helps and spins, but I think it's more about incorporating the beat into your skating. So find a beat and really try to do little steps on it before you go into big moves. And if you can, learn how to dip. That's a huge part of jam skating is dipping. It's my favorite move.
So hard. It's so hard.
It is. I've been working on it. I've been working on the dips since I started skating, and I'm still not there yet. And every time I meet someone new who knows how to dip, I'm like, show me how you dip. Show me how you dip.
It's different skaters have different dip styles and they all look so good. And your dips look amazing, by the way, but
I'm working
it
on
is
them.
so hard.
I'm working on them. But
It's
yeah,
really like almost like a trust fall.
it is like a trust fall, right? Because you really have to look backwards over your shoulder and really like, anyways, try to look sexy. And sometimes you just look like this.
Yeah.
You don't look sexy. No. Like, there's nothing funnier than trying to look sexy for a sexy move and just looking real awkward. But hey, some people just have more rhythm than others, right?
Oh yeah.
Some people just have a natural rhythm to them. Some people just have good, they can hear the music and then and then you pick it up. And some people just don't. I don't have a lot of rhythm, but I really, really work on it. And I'm not trying to say this to be like, oh no, you have rhythm. But I really try to like work on it and really musicality wise and try to listen for it. But some people just have it like naturally and you're just like, wow, that's cool.
Oh yeah. What are some moves that you're aspiring to? Are there any particular skills?
There's tons. First of all, you should always drill the moves that you have. Like always try to get better. You can always be smoother. You can always be quicker. It can always be, you know, your spins can always be better. Your crazy legs can always be smoother. But few things. I'm trying to work on the matrix right now. So the matrix, for those who don't know it, it's this really awkward pigeon toe move where you've got both skates like this and you've got your weight in the middle. You're on your front two wheels and you don't have toe stops, so you're not touching anything. And your weight's in the middle and you have to lean backwards. And then you go around, basically. So that's really hard to do. I've been trying for a long time and getting there, but and there's also like the back edge spin.
Okay.
So back edge spin is basically where you spin on one foot and you basically put all your weight on your back outer edge. So I don't know if you can see this here, but it's basically here. And then you spin with your legs crossed and they keep being crossed and you spin blindly. So basically when you're spinning, if you fall, your other leg can't catch you because it's the other way. So that's a back edge cross spin. So that's something I've been working on forever. So if you guys ever want to see a beautiful back edge cross spin, roller derby, she is the queen of those. Amazing. So I'm trying to do it on one foot now. Another thing, inspiring jam skaters, I didn't do this from the beginning, is always try to do the move on either side.
Yeah.
Always. And I'm guilty of not working my bad side. And I don't want to say I'm paying for it, but there's a lot of transition into moves that I'm having trouble with because, you know, you transition from one side to the next. And so you have to be comfortable spinning on both sides, doing transition on both sides.
That's so true for any kind of skating.
That's
like
true.
Even derby
That's true.
too. You have to do
That's
everything
true.
on both sides. What about the one where you sit spin?
Yes, sit spin. So I'm working on those. Those are coming along, but it's funny because a lot of people tell me sit spins, you have to master your toe spins. So that's another thing that I'm really not great at is toe spinning. And one of the reasons is because I didn't practice. And two is because I took a really bad fall toe spinning.
Okay.
It's on camera, actually. I think I have it in my fails. But
Oh no.
oh, yes. And it was horrendous. I was trying to toe spin the other way, so not my regular way. So my weak side, and somehow my wheel got caught in something and I just fell completely. And I fell on my hip, huge bruise. It hurt to walk for like months. So after that, I had like PTSD going back to sit spin. So a lot of people tell me, you got to toe spin because when you sit spin, you have to spin on your toes.
Mm-hmm.
But I find that a lot easier. My sit spins are coming along better than my toe spins are.
Because you're closer to the floor, maybe?
I guess so.
Okay.
Because it doesn't feel like exactly. So you go down, and if you fall, you're like it sucks, but you're here. You're not up here, right? So I'm working on those. That's coming along. And like just any floor work, for example, alpha kicks or just the regular kicks. Floor work is really hard. Like I'm getting it, but it's oh my
so
gosh.
core intensive.
It's so core intensive.
Like jam skaters must have abs of steel because like
Some do.
so many of the
Some do.
moves you guys do, even like when you're describing the matrix, that's all core.
Yeah, that is all core. And it's also, it's core and it's like balance. And so I think it's a lot of inner thighs and a lot of core. But yeah, definitely any type of floor work is core. And that's why a lot of men are so much better than women. Just because women are better at spins, I find, and they're better at certain moves. But floor work, men are just like, they're just killing it. And you're like, okay, all right, there. Just chill with the one hand push up on the wheels, okay?
You ever see those guys who sit on their skate and then have somebody on top of them and then they're just rolling up?
So actually, yes. So I met this guy, really nice guy. He's actually from, I think, St. Louis. I'm not sure. But he was at the Cali event back in November, and then he came to Venice. And then his move was exactly, so he taught me the St. Louis waltz, it's called, or the slide that I'm still trying to practice, which is like a partner skating kind of move, which is also really cool.
Yeah.
Partner skating is also jam skating, and it's also really hard because you have to skate with someone next to you. And if your wheels get caught together.
Yeah, you have to have perfect timing.
Yes, perfect timing. Actually, one of the funniest and awkward is if you try to dip together. I tried a few times with a few people, and it's really hard. Anyway. But yeah, so he came to Cali and he skated, and that was his move. He would take off his skate, sit on a skate, and then he would have like a girl sit on him, and they would go down. Like, so there's a little incline in Venice Beach. So basically when you get into the plaza, there's a little hill, and he would like skate down the hill on his skate, and he'd have like several girls just sit on him.
What a pickup move.
What
a flex.
What a flex. It was, and he, good look, like tall, good looking guy. And all the girls were like, yes, of course. Like, here I am. I didn't do it. Maybe I should have. I don't know. He was pretty cute.
You bring up a good point too, because we've been talking about jam skating, but yeah, you mentioned shuffle skating, there's partner skating, there's just all kinds of different dance skating. Are there any other kinds of skating that you want to try eventually other than jam skating?
Honestly, maybe park skating. But I'm really scared. I'm really scared of park skating. Like I've seen
I'm so thrilled.
I've seen some injuries. I will try, but I don't know if it's something that I want to pursue. I just, I don't want to get hurt, which is just stupid. It's inevitable. And even jam skating, you get hurt, and people have broken something by just standing there and like falling, and you just fall awkwardly. So it doesn't really matter. But so I will try one point, maybe park skating this summer. And you're like really excited.
I'm so excited.
We'll see. We'll see. Maybe in the summer. I don't know if I want to do it now. We'll see. Partner skating is something I really want to try as well, more of, which is hard because you got to find someone. The other thing with partner skating, which is kind of funny, the more close in height you are, the easier it is.
Oh.
I find. For me anyways. I tried with a few people who were tall, and it was awkward. Someone my height, so easy. So easy.
So you have to find someone who can do it.
Yes.
And then
someone, yes. Sometimes like partner skating with women is just easier because you guys are like almost all the same height and we can just do it. Like, so partner skating is a big one. At some point, maybe I'd like to try the sliding on the wood wheels.
What do you call the flow thing? Like, that's always something I wanted to learn is like, when you're going around, but you're doing like all these cool transitions. And what is that called?
Rink skating. There's JB skating. So JB is another style of skate.
Like James Brown.
James Brown, this comes from Chicago. And they skate on this like James Brown remix. And it's like fast. And it's not always fast, but most of it is fast. And they have a certain combination of moves that
they have call outs, right? Like they have a leader who will be like,
that's right.
Okay.
Exactly. There's so many styles of skates that I don't even know. Like I don't know what kind of style of skate they have in like Austin. maybe they have something different in Florida. I don't know. I haven't been around that much to know. But yeah, so James Brown, definitely something. JB skating is definitely something I'd like to try. Chicago is like the place to go. I think it's jam skating. I don't know. I'm not the expert, but you're not in the middle of the ring. You go around the ring and it's kind of like a bunch of you and everybody knows the moves. How y'all know this? Does everyone just do this? And they're like, yeah, that's all we do. And you're like, okay, so cool.
It is so
It's
cool.
so cool. Skating is so cool. Come skate.
Yeah.
Anytime to skate, come skate.
And if you could have anything in Ottawa,
I think like an outdoor plaza would be my, and I know we have one at the Rink of Dreams, which is pretty good, but I feel like bringing a huge speaker there, you would get kicked out real fast. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
Like I could just see it because it's putting it up in front of like a city hall. We live in Ottawa, like it's. So I think that's something that would be really cool. Like just a slab of concrete that's really smooth, and you're allowed to bring music. So I think that's kind of what I would love here in Ottawa. Another thing that'd be great, and this is not just for Ottawa, for Montreal, for my Montreal peeps, Montreal needs a skating rink.
It doesn't have skating
It
rink?
doesn't have a skating rink, and the community is so much bigger there. And people like Marley and other skaters, they organize, roller disco in different places, but there's no dedicated rink. And it's actually really sad because Roller Pony, which was the big skating rink in Toronto, just closed. I know people were really sad about it. They still have another skating rink, Scooters, I think, I believe. But that was the Roller Pony. I've been there a couple of times, and it was great. It's a great place to skate. Like the way that we have here in Ottawa, which is skate and play now.
I think it's skate and play.
Skate and play, which is great. I love skate and play, actually. It's a dedicated space, and it's amazing.
Yeah, and I've seen some of your recent reels. You've been jam skating in the middle of skate and play, which is really fun. Because I think that's something that wasn't allowed before.
That's right. But now you can bring phones, which is, I understand that's a double-edged thing where people don't want to, everyone's filming and no one's paying attention. But at the same time, you got to be respectful and mindful of people around you. And I think it's fine to film here and there. And most people are not out there with their phone the whole time. So
I'd love like a nice indoor space with, like I said earlier, mirrors would be really cool.
It's hard, and it's also, I think it's just a lack of understanding, I guess, in a lot of places where they have dance studios and they think that we're gonna destroy the floors. And I don't think that you can destroy wood floors with your wheels. I just don't see, but I guess, unless you demonstrate. I have called a few places and they were like, no, because you can destroy the floors. It's like, okay, well, it's not true. And also jam plugs, just for those, who are not familiar, like toe stops are the big ones and jam plugs are the little ones, but they're still made of like rubber or like they're still soft. They don't scratch the floor.
So Erin's building one in her garage.
Converting my garage into like a space that I could skate in. And so
Do it. An instructor would be nice.
the structure would be helpful. We could get Addie to do it too. We just got Addie to
true.
start doing it more
Shout
often.
out Addie.
Shout out Addie. Come on
teach
out.
us. Come teach us in Erin's garage.
Roller Addie will help me build it.
That's cool.
Yeah, so
That's cool.
you've agreed to come teach us
Yes,
in her garage?
I will come and I don't know if I'll jam skate with you guys and we can just dance together. I don't have to teach you. We can just do it together.
Oh, that's so cute. So what does skating mean to you?
So skating is kind of an obsession now. It's become I don't want to say a lifestyle because that just sounds like I'm doing, I wish I could skate every day. I want to move to California so I can skate every single day, or any place where you can skate 365 days a year. Like what a treat to be able to skate outside every single day.
And what is it in particular about skating that has drawn you to it so much?
I don't know. It's just community. Obviously, I think a lot of people say that anywhere you go, skaters are really, I think I met one skater that wasn't friendly, actually. I won't name who it is, but other than that, I've met so many people. I've met so many friends like you and my friend Judith and Sarah and Matthew and so many friends that I've made through skating. And I think that's a big part of it, just belonging to something. Also, it lets you be creative, I think. Definitely made me more confident in who I am. And I might not be confident in my real life, but when I'm on that skate floor, I feel good. I feel confident. Not all the time, but most of the time. And I feel free. You never reach a plateau where you're like, I've done it all and I can't get better. But it's also accessible. I started skating 3 years ago now. No experience. And in my late 30s, you don't have to be fit and athletic. I'm not athletic at all. I didn't play sports as a kid, right? I'm not athletic in that sense. People who have really great eye-hand coordination, or people who are just good at sports. I'm not one of those people. It's accessible, I find it. And I think people can have a great time, even if they don't consider themselves fit or perfect or athletic or whatever. That skating is very accessible. It allows people to be part of a community that's really friendly and really a lot of fun, and it's amazing. It's kind of obsessive. It's kind of got an obsession now. So I feel obsessed about roller skating. It is an obsession, and I think it's a healthy obsession. If anything, it's a good thing. It's good for your mental health. It's good for your physical health. It's good for community. It's good for your spiritual health. The only thing maybe it's not good for sometimes is your knees. I know my knees are not too happy with me
That
these
is
days,
so
but that's
true.
okay. That's okay.
That's amazing. You killed that.
Oh, thank you.
Great job.
Thank you for interviewing me.
Trying not to